break you. Don't wait hand to feed you. Most of the hoes are faithful.
Bumped into him and he was literally tuning his 765 LT. I said, he's like, yo, let's do the Senna. I thought, yeah, why not? Fuck it, here we are.
Why not?
3 days later. Tell us exactly what we're going to do to the car, because I don't have a clue.
We're going to drop the engine out, stick a set of rods in it.
Engine out. Wait, there. We're taking the engine out of a McLaren Senna. £1.2 million engine out. Fuck it. What else we do?
We're going to upgrade the injectors.
Come on.
We're going to upgrade the air filters.
Let's go.
Okay. We're going to put our M-Tuner suite on there. So we've got map switching, rolling launch control, anti-lag, all the pops and bangs.
That's what we need.
We've done one in the UK.
Okay.
It wasn't a crazy build though.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do E85 map. He just kept on 98.
I mean, it's a
So
lot of a car,
you're
innit?
a crazy guy, so we need
Fuck
to give you a crazy map.
Do you know what it was? I got the car the whole time.
properly.
Me and Cam was talking over the whole weekend, like, yo, should we do this? And was like, yo, it's a lot of car. It was like, yeah, man, talking warranty, this, that. I said, you know, fuck it.
You know when you start the car and the whole car's shaking? That's because of the engine mounts. On the 765s, it's the same.
Does that when I'm driving?
Yeah, so we changed them to the
It's
720
like,
engine mounts. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there whacking carbon panels.
It's softer.
Is it because they're probably...
They're just stiffer so that you're a race car, innit? You know?
Nah,
so
nah,
we do
fuck
them
all that.
do the same on the 765.
I feel like I'm gonna like
720
this car
engine
way
mounts.
more, you know.
Yeah. So day zero, right? We'll class this as day zero because the adapters are ready. We're gonna dyno it, see what it's putting out stock. So we've got a nice baseline. Once we've got this, we're gonna send it inside the workshop, rip the engine out, rip it all into pieces, clean everything up, put it through the ultrasonic cleaner, forge the engine.
Mad.
We're gonna be upgrading the connecting rods, replacing all the relevant seals, gaskets. We won't be doing anything else to the engine other than head studs, just because it's already a Senna engine. It's got the DLC coated finger followers, it's got the Senna cams, it's got DLC coated wrist pins, it's got Senna pistons. We put this stuff in our 1400 horsepower builds, so we know what they can take, all right? We've not found the limit of those components yet, but the weakest link inside the engine is the connecting rods. So that's the main thing that we want to upgrade in this engine. Once the engine's built, we're going to be tuning it. We're going to be upgrading the injectors, the air filters. We're going to put some nice dump valves on it as well.
So we don't have to change headers or anything for flow?
Stock heads.
Okay, cool.
Stock heads on this. Stock ECU, but we put the M-Tuner suite on it.
Do people like put standalones on this or?
They don't, no, because no one's got, there's a Cybex, but the Cybex doesn't talk well with the gearbox.
Yeah.
So you can't use launch control.
They put that on the 570s and shit, innit?
Yeah, there's a couple of 570s. We've got a 650 in there on Motec.
Okay.
On this, we've got all the rolling anti-lag.
That's what I'm saying, you can do that anyway with it,
We've got all that stuff on stock ECU,
Yeah,
so you don't need it.
Anyway, let's get into the fucking action and see what happens from here.
One of the re-dyno checks we do, real quick, we're going to check the oil level, make sure it's good before we do a hit, just in case DMO hasn't checked his oil level. So yeah, need to wait for the oil temp to hit 9C, and then it starts that 120-second timer. Counts down, tells you if the oil level is correct or not. I was just checking your oil level there. It was low. So we're going to add oil and then we're going to do the runs, alright?
Do you know what I'm saying? Proportions.
Let it cool right down when it goes into the night, between 9 10 o'clock, do a hit.
Yeah,
see if it goes up. A 765 makes 750.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's probably the heat. I'm checking the oil level twice, so it was on for an hour.
100%.
So it's probably just heat soak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted to see what it would just do stock. I reckon there's another 30-40 wheel horsepower in it. Higher the DA, the less power it's going to make. On the other cars I've been tuning, it's around 2500, 2800 DA. It's really hard to make power at that kind of DA.
I don't know what this DEA or the CID or the FBI or the CAA is, but it sounds bad.
We didn't quite get the numbers on this last night that we were hoping for. So stock, it made between 720 and 740 wheel. A 765 makes 755. So 765 is a little bit more powerful than a Senna, or maybe it was just a really hot day. That means the bump in power is going to be even bigger, so we're going to turn it all the way up to 1000.
The first part of the process is taking the ECU out. The ECU gets sent to the US M Engineering. We need to take this quarter panel off because the ECU is hidden right here. On all McLarens, it's right here. It's quite easy to access, but here, it's right here. Body panels have been stripped, everything's been disconnected, all the fluids have been drained. Now it's time to drop out this engine and gearbox and get it stripped and ready for rebuild.
Right, I'm going to show you your engine.
Let's have a look.
This is what we pulled out of your Senna. You have one difference on the Senna that you can visually see, is this. This Senna
Intake.
Manifold.
Yeah, that's what everyone's
This is
wants.
an expensive puppy. It's got a different ignition system to any other McLaren.
This is why we come here, because everything to do with McLaren is here, in depth, stock, non-stock,
Oh yeah,
fully built, you name it.
we got it all. Bro, nobody's ever done this before in a Senna.
This is what I want to
Like,
do
you are the
first.
first person on the planet to do this.
And everyone keeps saying, a lot of people, because I mean, in the comments are like, oh, someone's done it before. Yeah, on a 720 or 765.
Yeah, it's been done on other chassis,
Not
not
on
on a
a
Senna.
McLaren Senna. There's only 500 of these in the world. Less than that, probably 400. So this is where we are.
This is the engine control unit, which every other McLaren has. And this is the electronic ignition system box, which no other McLaren has. The electronic ignition system box is responsible for monitoring the cylinder pressure inside the cylinder between firing cycles. So really, really clever box. Again, no other McLaren has this. McLaren Senna is the only McLaren that has this. And unlike any traditional engine, there's no knock sensors on this engine. So this is a carbon fiber accumulator. Now, you may have heard us talk about accumulators before on the McLarens, specifically the McLaren 720S, but this is a carbon fiber one, and it's like 4 times the size of a regular one. This is a McLaren Senna turbocharger. Now, usually on a 4-litre McLaren, you would see an outlet here for a blow-off valve, right? So what happens is when you're on boost and you let off the throttle, it vents the air from here to stop the compressor from stalling. The McLaren Senna doesn't have one on the turbocharger. Instead, they moved it to the intercoolers because they're much closer to the headrest, right? They wanted as much sound coming out of the Senna as possible. And again, this is something that's unique to the McLaren Senna. We're also going to be installing dump valves onto this car to give even more of an effect of the turbo sound. So this is the Senna intake manifold. What's the difference? Now, it's obviously carbon fiber. You can see the 650S is a taller manifold. The 720S manifold is shorter, and then when you go back to the Senna one is taller again. Why is that? So what they did was on the 4-litre 720S engine, they noticed that cylinders 1, 5 and 8 were knocking. So they put equal length runners on the McLaren Senna manifold to reduce the tendency of knock. This also improves the volumetric efficiency of the engine with the runners being longer, right? Because the air being funneled into the combustion chamber is tumbled better before it gets to the combustion chamber. So usually when you see upgraded manifolds on cars, you do tend to notice that the runners are generally longer. They're never shorter, because the shorter the the runners, the less space the airflow has to tumble correctly. So yeah, the Senna intake manifold makes around 2 or 3% more power than the 720S intake manifold. It's carbon fiber, it's lighter, and it heat soaks a bit less as well than the 720 manifold.
Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves.
On this side you have the intake camshaft with the inlet ports here, and on this side you have the exhaust camshaft with the exhaust ports on this side. Now, the McLaren Senna, obviously with it being such an expensive car, McLaren went overboard with the R&D of the engine. They put special camshafts into this engine so they flow more at higher RPM. So one of the things we do on our 720 builds and our 765 builds is we take the camshafts from this engine and we put them into the 720s and the 765s. The camshafts make around 5% power, so if you're making 1,000 wheel, they will make an additional 50 wheel horsepower. That's one thing that's different on the Senna camshaft. The exact thing that's different about them, they've not got more lift, because the lift can only be a certain amount on this cylinder head, but they do have more duration and they ramp faster. That means they keep the valve open for longer and they open it faster than a regular 720S or a 765 cam. Once we get the camshaft off, underneath we have something called the DLC coated finger followers, right? So these finger followers are like little fingers that push the exhaust valves and the intake valves down. What they did on the McLaren Senna engine, they actually also do this on the 765 LT, the 600 LT, all of the long tail McLarens. They put a DLC coating onto the finger followers. That reduces the pumping losses inside the engine and reduces wear over time as well. Obviously, when these cars are designed to go round and round and round a racetrack, right? So they wanted to put all of the trick stuff into this engine. We're now going to pop the cylinder heads off and show you what's underneath.
Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they love one day docked away. You loving on the psychopath sitting next to you. You loving on the murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves.
Once we've got the heads off, obviously the cylinder heads are the same as a 720S. But underneath the cylinder head, you've got the head gasket. Now, the head gasket on the McLaren Senna and models after that are triple layer instead of double layer. So you see here, this is an MLS head gasket, which on the 720S has 2 layers. But on the Senna, the 765, the 750S, they switched to a triple layer head gasket. So you may be wondering, why did they do this? Now, a double layer head gasket actually seals better than a triple layer head gasket, but a triple layer head gasket allows for there to be more imperfections in the surfaces. So the surface of the cylinder head and the surface of the engine block. These are all the stock parts of the car. So these are the stock pistons. These are obviously our upgraded connecting rods here. Now, believe it or not, there's not a lot different inside the bottom end of the Senna versus a regular 720S, other than the Senna piston. On the Senna piston, they DLC coat the wrist pin here, DLC coating. We've tested these pistons up to around 1400 wheel horsepower, and we've not seen any issues yet. I don't expect to see any issues up until we hit 1800 wheel horsepower. We will be reusing the Senna pistons on the Senna and installing our upgraded connecting rods. The limit for the connecting rods is, on pump gas it's around 800 wheel, and on race gas it's around 1050 wheel. Past that you cannot push the stock rods. That's when you need upgraded connecting rods. So these, we've pushed them well past 1300 wheel horsepower and not seen any issues with them yet. They are rated to 1800 wheel horsepower, so hopefully we will hit that in the near future. Other than the pistons, not a lot going on in the bottom end. We even have the engine block here. The engine block of a McLaren Senna is the same engine block they use in a 720S, a 765LT, all right? There's not a lot going on in the bottom end either. Kamal's now wrapping this up, pop this back into the car and make 1300 wheel on the dyno. Obviously we spoke a little bit about the engine blocks being the same, right, on the 720S and the McLaren Senna. So this, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, is where the knock sensors go. So that's where they would go on a 720S and a 765LT. This has the holes for them, but it doesn't have any knock sensors. So this will actually be the first time that we're pushing a Senna to 1300 wheel. I'm hoping we don't run into any issues with the ion sensing coil pack system, because obviously it monitors the combustion quality through the spark plugs and the ignition coils. So we don't really know how it's going to behave with all that power, all that cylinder pressure. It could be that we end up having to rip the Senna ignition control system out and replace it with a conventional knock control system. If we do need to do that, that is something we can do pretty easily.
Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they love one day docked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You love another psychopath sitting next to you. You love another murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. We don't deal with outsiders very well. They say newcomers have a certain smell. Yeah, trust issues not to mention. They say they can smell your intentions. You laughing on the freak show sitting next to you. You laugh some weird people sitting
I'm free.
next to you.
Let's
3,
go.
2, 1, crank it. What the fuck?
Let it wake up. Do it a bit. Go again.
Sounded a bit rough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
What's going on? I'm seeing a
That's
whole
your
lot of
idle,
graphs.
right? It's idling a little bit rough.
Yeah, it looks like this.
Yeah, it's not supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look like
Straight.
this.
It's not looking good. What's
So
the problem?
obviously we've got 4-bar map sensors in there,
Okay.
but the ECU doesn't know it's got 4-bar map sensors in there.
Oh, so you still got the
Right,
3 map bar
we've still
sensor
got
on there.
the ECU still scaled for 3-bar maps. The spikes in the manifold absolute pressure. That
Okay.
should be idling at around 400 millibar, not down at 200, right? So we need
Okay.
to rescale the map sensors on the ECU.
Then we'll fire
And
again.
start
properly.
again.
Fucking hell. Yo, had me worried for a minute. Ian can explain.
So we're going to swap them over for 3-bar map sensors for now. Obviously we need to wait for M Engineering to wake up in USA so they can send me the new code
Okay.
for the 4-bar map sensors. We're going to see what fires up in idles on the 3-bar maps.
Okay, yeah, just get it running.
Just get it running for now. Check for leaks.
This is why we go to Infinit. They know exactly what they're doing.
Quick recap of what was going on the Senna there. One of the things about being a tuner is being able to read the sensors on the car and read what they're telling you so you can diagnose it. One of the benefits that we have of having the M-Tuner suite onto the ECU is we can see what every single sensor on the engine is doing, right? We can't see that if we don't put the M-Tuner suite onto the ECU. So that's why That's when we're looking after a McLaren, that's one of the first things we do, so we have full control over the ECU and we can see what's going on in the ECU. So the Senna, as you guys saw, started up, idled a little bit rough, not something we're used to. Make a data log, upload it to the computer straight away and see what's going on. This is what your average McLaren data log looks like. Your light grey line is your RPM. So this is when the Senna was idling. If you bring up manifold absolute pressure, which is the map sensor, any car on idle, if it's got a map sensor in the manifold, there's usually a vacuum inside the manifold. So if the engine was off, it should read 1 bar. If the engine is on and idling, it should read between 350 to 550 millibar. That's around half a bar to around 0.3 bar. A nice healthy engine at idle is around 360 millibar. So that's 0.36 bar. The Senna's idling at 0.25 bar, which is pretty much impossible. When the engine is off on the Senna, it's showing 0.65 bar. Now we know that atmospheric pressure is 1 bar, thereabouts, right? So if it's showing 0.65 bar at idle, 650 millibar, that tells me that the map sensor is not correctly scaled on the ECU. Unfortunately, we can't edit the code on the ECU. We need M Engineering to come online, which will be in around 4 hours from now. Send us a new file, we'll start it up and we'll be golden. I'll also show you guys another data log here from another McLaren at idle. So here you can see on decel it's around 350 millibar and at idle it's around 450 millibar. So these are the values that you should be seeing at idle and on decel. Anything lower than that, it's way off, and if you're not seeing 1 bar with the engine off atmospheric pressure, you know something is off as well.
They've scaled the tune for 4 bar map sensors and we flashed it to the car now. These are the map sensors. Let's start the car up. Should start first time. It's set. Gonna check the fluids now, make sure it's all good, get it on the dyno.
Mr. Frankenstein, or Victor Frankenstein. I'm Dr. Frankenstein. I'm out here saving lives. Ego by my side.
Late night shift, tuning the Senna, early in Miami, seeing how we get on. It's gonna run in late tonight.
Iced out panda, Jesus, iced out cross, missed out on church.
So you've seen us do a couple of hits. They're all around about the same horsepower, 700, 800 wheel. We're setting the base fuel pressure up, the base fueling up, and the boost control up. And then from there, once it's all dialed in, we'll start turning it up. as we approach redline, you can see you get knock retard. So what knock retard is doing, it's pulling ignition out of the cylinders because it's detecting knock. The ion sensing coil packs that we spoke about earlier, they're picking up spikes in cylinder pressure. So what they do is they pull out ignition timing to prevent any damage to the engine. So we're just seeing light knock here. We're going to pull it back a little bit and wrap it up on pump gas. Now it's time to put the race fuel in and see what it makes on race. Right, this is the fuel of choice for the Senna. It's called Blue Pro, mostly ethanol with a little bit of nitromethane in it. This makes power, and DMO will be dealing it on this stuff. What's going on here? We poured the ethanol into the car, we did a hit, and obviously usually it would go all the way to redline. That's 8,500 RPM. This is around 4,000 RPM where the boost comes on. And this is a data log from the car on all 8 cylinders. You can see that there's a lot of knock on each cylinder. What's going on here? Now, this is not something you would expect to see switching from a gasoline to an ethanol blend, especially with it being richer, same timing, same boost. What's happened here is the ion sensing coil pack system is having a little bit of a hissy fit. It's calibrated for gasoline, so when we've changed the mixture to an ethanol, which is an alcohol, it's not happy. We've got a couple of solutions for this. One would be remove the ion sensing coil pack system, which we spoke about before, and fit traditional knock sensors to the engine. Another solution is switch the knock sensors off, but we don't do that here. And lastly, what we're going to do today is we're going to switch back to gasoline. And we're going to switch to a race gasoline blend. It's a VP product. And we'll still see around 1300 wheel. Okay, found another limit on the Senna, obviously with no one ever having done this before. We hit 3 bar of boost, or 3 bar of absolute boost, so 2 bar of boost. If you look on the log here, so the second the car went over 2 bar of boost, 3 bar map sensor limit, it threw a fault code. Manifold pressure sensor, rationality high, rationality pressure too high. So obviously inside the factory ECU there is a map sensor limit, which we are now going to remove and move forward. Once again, this is because nobody has ever done this before, and these things are to be expected. Now, the part of being a tuner is running into these issues and coming up with solutions instead of the car just sitting there for months on end without a solution, you know. Fortunately, we know our way about the ECU, so we can address these things pretty quickly. The Senna is finally put back together. As you can see, all of the panels are now fitted back to the car. We had the panels off as I expected to run into some roadblocks tuning this. We were running into load limitations on the ECU, map sensor limits, and knock sensor limitations. So with the map sensor, with no one having fitted 4-bar maps, when we hit 2-bar of atmospheric boost, there was a limitation on the ECU that we had to overcome. We were hitting load limits on the ECU, it wasn't letting us make over 1,000 wheel. And of course, lastly, the fuel. When we put ethanol into the fuel tank, the ion sensors on the knock control system went haywire. With this engine having no knock sensors, it was something that I was possibly expecting to happen. We're very fortunate that we have the experience with working on these cars. We pulled the engine out, we bolted some knock sensors onto the engine, and disabled the ion sensing coil pack system. We also fitted GTR coils. We addressed the limits on the ECU for the load limits and the map sensor limits, and it's finally time to dial it in. One more thing we did, I wasn't quite happy with the turbos we had on there. DMO came to me and he was like, listen, we want to make this the fastest McLaren that's ever been built. So whilst we had the engine out, we swapped the turbos over as well. It's now got bigger turbos on there. Bigger turbos means more boost. So with more boost and being able to run it on ethanol as well means even more power. Let's dial this in and see how we get on.
Let's see what this bad boy's saying. Ho, 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 ho.
Righty, we're gonna do the low boost map, okay? Then after this, I'm gonna do the high boost map.
Perfect. Let's go.
Ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's fucking have it. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see where we're at. 1,254 wheel horsepower, which is this brake horsepower. We're ready to make the world record fucking hit now. I've got a good feeling. Have a fucking jag of this. You ready?
You ready?
Have some of that! Let's fucking have it! Woo! Let's fucking go! What are we saying?
What are you saying?
Big at you! Are we hearing the record? Bomb McLaren! Did you what I'm saying? The world's fastest McLaren! Fuck everything! 1,490 blood clot 4 and 1 to the wheels! Let's go!